The Houston Texans in Kansas City, a frigid game day, and the Chiefs await Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and more. A formidable opponent for the Texans, but a chance to prove for the Texans that they could play with anybody. Because if you beat Kansas City in Kansas City, well, then you can beat darn near anybody anywhere when it comes to the NFL. This is the best team in the NFL by record, and they somehow, some way get it done almost every single week. So how do the Texans pull off this win? How can the Chiefs get the victory? And ultimately, who is going to win this matchup? Well, I'll let you know. Powered by my friends at BetUS. Let's start with the Houston Texans. How do they win this matchup? Well, offensively, Joe Mixon has got to get going. You've got to be able to take time off the clock. You've got to be able to burn clock if you have a lead. And you've got to be able to stay out of second and long and third and long situations by running the football effectively with Joe Mixon. Last week, one of the worst rushing performances of the season from Joe Mixon, and really it was from this offensive line. The five guys up front didn't get going enough, along with the tight ends that help out in that situation, and Mixon never really got going on the ground, and that has to change against the Kansas City Chiefs. They've got to be able to run the football. It's most important for keeping them out of second and long and third and long, where they just don't have solutions as a team to handle those situations. Second and long often leads to a short run, which gives you third and long, or an incomplete pass, which also gives you third and long. Joe Mixon got to be successful in first and second downs to make things easier on third downs for CJ Stroud. For Stroud, well, he's got to get rid of the football. Trust your eyes. Guys are going to get open. Guys are schemed open, and sometimes Stroud misses them. Sometimes he hangs on too long trying to make something happen. And I get it. This offensive line has had some really shaky moments, which makes you think CJ Stroud overcompensates for them sometimes. Obviously, if the O-line can just block it up as maybe as good as they did against the Dolphins, preferably closer to that Jaguars performance where they didn't really allow a ton of pressure in that game. If the offensive line can block it up right, Stroud trusts his eyes, gets rid of the football on time, and doesn't hang on to it too long, doesn't try to do too much with it, the Texans should be able to stay on track, stay moving the chains, and find themselves with some opportunities to kick some field goals and to score a touchdown in this matchup. So it's going to be very important to protect CJ Stroud and to get going on the ground. And that really starts with the five guys up front for the Texans. And that's been the overwhelming story for this offense for most of the season. Defensively, unleash hell on Patrick Mahomes from the edges, blitzing up the middle. He is not as mobile as he usually is because he's dealing with that ankle injury. That's not to say that he can't take off. Everybody remembers against the Philadelphia Eagles where he looked like he was dying and they were going to have to cut his foot off. The next thing you know, he scampered up the field for like 30 yards and the Chiefs were back in business. But coming off the edge against a rough tackle group for the Kansas City Chiefs, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson will drastically affect what the Chiefs can do on offense. And then you've got to tackle well yet again. If you do not tackle Xavier Worthy, if you do not tackle Hollywood Brown, if you do not tackle Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce, all of a sudden yards after contact goes up, your chances of winning goes way down. So that's Jimmy Ward at the nickel's cornerback spot. That's Eric Murray and Kalen Bullock at safety, and that's those linebackers, Henry To'o with the green dot, the communication dot between him and D'Amico Ryans. He'll have to be excellent again this week as well for the Texans. Tackle really well. Those are the ways the Texans can get this thing done. Who do you think is going to get it done? Well, you can bet on it at BetUS. YouTube 150 is the code to get you a 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit. And I love the prop builder. It's over here, over on the side. You can sort it by game. You can go across various games as well. But we're going into the receiving yards on this one. Though I do believe this will be a lower scoring game, I think some of these numbers are a little low. Noah Gray's the third leading receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know Hollywood Brown's back. I know they throw it to the back sometimes, but Noah Gray's had a great 6-week stretch here for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I like his over 23.5 yards. I also like Robert Woods' number over 13.5. John Mechie not playing in this one. Maybe a little bit more for Robert Woods in this one. Looking at some of these other over-unders, nobody that I'm dying to add to the equation. You pop over to the touchdown tab. I mean, if the Texans are going to score a touchdown, it's going to be Nico Collins, right? So when you put those three together, 850 plus 850 is your number here. Your max wager on this one, right around $11. So 10 gets you a return of 95. It is that easy to put it together over at BetUS. YouTube 150 is the code when you get signed up. Play along if you'd like. And that YouTube 150 code gets you a 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, and leaving give you a 125% bonus on your next two deposits after that. YouTube 150, the code. How do the Chiefs get this done? Well, shut down Joe Mixon. Because if Joe Mixon is not running the football well, and Joe Mixon is running for 1 or 2 yards or -1 yards or no gain, and it's second and long and third and long, the Texans don't have the offensive line to hold up against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. They do not have the interior presence on the offensive line to stave off pressure long enough to be successful enough to run the offense. The Texans cannot protect for an entire game. And if this one's close, some key moments, they haven't run the ball well, second and long, third and long, boom, CJ Stroud's getting sacked, having to escape or make a decision before he wants to. And that's how it all kind of snowballs out of control for the Houston Texans if you shut down their rushing attack. For the Chiefs on offense, you've got to be able to get your guys in space and force the Texans to tackle well, take advantage when they make those mistakes. Look, you got to get rid of the ball quick if you're Patrick Mahomes. You can't be taking a bunch of hits from Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson on your bum ankle, and they can't be attacking you and disrupting the way that you run your offense. Hollywood's really fast, but he can also win quickly. Same with Xavier Worthy. DeAndre Hopkins is kind of your longer developing play guy, but even then, Hop's got a moment or two where he's going to get open, and Kelsey's the king of, hey, 3-4 yards, turn around, boom, there's the ball from Patrick Mahomes. That will help the Chiefs slow down that Texans pass rush, but it's not going to keep them at bay for the entire game. So you got to get the ball out into space to Gray, to Pacheco, to Kelsey, to the wideouts, and force the Texans to go and make plays. Piece it together long enough. D'Amico Ryans talks about it all the time. How long can you stay focused to get this done against this type of team? Well, the Chiefs have to be betting that they can break the focus of the Texans by getting the ball out and forcing them to really play through some longer drives in this one. And oh, by the way, don't challenge Derek Stingley either. Don't throw it at him. Him and Hop, that's going to be Sting nearly every single time. So don't challenge Derek Stingley if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. So who's going to win this matchup? I feel like the Texans are going to pull the upset here. It's going to be close. It's going to be a score that the Chiefs have seen quite a bit, but it's going to be flipped. And it's not going to be them winning this matchup. 19-17, low scoring affair in this matchup. I feel like both defenses are going to come ready to play, attack both of these offenses, make it a tough day for the quarterbacks. But a Nico Collins touchdown. Joe Mixon has enough from the rushing attack. The Texans get a key turnover, perhaps, sets them up for some short field success. 19-17, your final score, and the Texans pull off the upset against the Kansas City Chiefs, putting the Chiefs, number 1 seed in the AFC, in danger and giving the Texans an opportunity to improve their seeding, depending on how some of those other games this weekend play out. What say you? Who's going to win this matchup? Let me know in the comment section down below on your way down there. Thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget about my friends at BetUS, that code YouTube150 when you get signed up as well. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait till we talk about this Texans game after this Texans game right here on YouTube. Don't miss it. Talk to you then.